calling all musicians, bands, songwriters, and music producers. If you need somebody to review a contract, draft up an agreement, or just have your back in a negotiation, contact me, music attorney Randy Ojeda. I've negotiated record label deals, publishing and management deals, sync licensing deals, and so much more. So find out what my firm can do for your music career. Head to randyojedalaw.com and book a consultation now.
Good to go whenever you are.
All right. Welcome to Cigar City Radio. I'm your host, Randy Ojeda, and making the magic happen, the man with the plan, Mr. Jason Solanas.
You know that feeling in your throat after you eat something that makes you feel or makes a sound like you're getting a...
This
it's like
again.
you're...
I'm not even going to respond to this one.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't. Our guests on this episode are Quentin Branch and Brian Warren, the experimental hip-hop duo Angry Blackmen, known for their catchy wordplay and spine-splitting production. Featured by Anthony Fontano, Pitchfork, and more, their new album, The Legend of ABM, is out now on Death Bomb Arc.
So here it is, Angry Blackmen. All right, we are here with Angry Blackmen, the duo of Quentin Branch and Brian Warren. The album The Legend of ABM is out now on Death Bomb Arc. It's one of my favorite records of the year, I have to say. Early contender for record of the year. I just love it. So first off, thanks guys for joining us and being on the show. How are you doing?
Pretty good. Thank you for having us, man.
Thank you.
Right on. So you're Chicago based, right? Are you both in Chicago right now?
I'm actually not. I'm very close to Santa Fe, New Mexico currently, but Brian is in Illinois right now.
Okay. Oh, right on. And Quentin, I have to ask because, you and I are actually friends on Facebook, I have to say.
Yes.
And on Facebook, it says that you're from St. Petersburg, Florida. Is that true?
Yeah, I was born there, actually. I spent my childhood there before I went to the Illinois.
That's amazing. So yeah, we're obviously Cigar City Radio, so we're based out of Tampa. And Tampa and St. Pete is kind of like our main market for listeners. So I was really excited when I saw that you were from St. Pete because the St. Pete to Chicago pipeline I think is real.
Oh, absolutely. I don't remember a lot about it, so I need to go visit it. It's been a while. So
yeah, y'all need to come through on do a show here. I think the crowd here would definitely be appreciative of what you do, So Chicago, I went to law school in Chicago. I went to Loyola, lived in Chicago for about 5 years, and that's, to me, I think some of the best music, especially the best hip hop in the world right now, is coming out of Chicago. And I know you had like Chicago artists sketching on as a feature on the record. I was actually introduced to Angry Blackmen by a fellow by the name of Rich Jones, who you probably know. What's the scene like in Chicago?
Whoa, hold on. Before we even start, you said Rich Jones introduced you?
He introduced me to Angry Blackmen, I believe, in one of his
posts.
What's
funny? I swear to God, I thought this man did not like us for the longest. That's crazy. Shout out to Rich Jones.
No, Rich Jones is a homie, man.
Yeah. That's what's up. If you get time, tell him Quentin from Angry Blackmen said hi. But,
all right, we'll do.
Yeah, I thought this man. Yeah. But can you ask the question again? Shout out to Rich Jones.
No, I just want to talk about the Chicago scene a little bit, because there's so much good music coming out of there, like Rich Jones being one of them, sketching, Def C, Crash Prez, all these like underground, rappers and producers are coming out of Chicago. So how do you guys feel about the scene?
Brian, you want to take it?
Um, Honestly, I'm feeling pretty good about the scene. It's been a ton of fresh music being churned out, and I'm kind of happy that we're a part of that wave now. Just from growing up and like watching on the outskirts and actually being in the sauce now is really a monumental thing to me because I'll just sit back and just be in deja vu moment all day. Like, oh man, I remember we was sitting there wishing to get talks with these kind of people, or wishing to do this and wishing to be posted there. And now that it's happening, it's like it's so much going on and spiraling around us. We Half the time, me personally, I can't say for you, but half the time I can't sit around and enjoy it like that, and I really want to.
Yeah, to add on what Brian said, I love the Chicago scene. I definitely think it's one of the better music scenes. Even though I think in recent years we kind of, I don't want to say lost the crown, but it hasn't been a Chance the Rapper or a Kanye or a Chief Keef in a little bit. And but despite that, I think we've contributed just a lot towards music in general, whether it be like um just all the genres coming out of there. I'm trying to think
Yeah.
of the one. What is it? Math rock? Is that what they call it? I know math rock
Yeah.
started in Chicago. Yeah, so you have scenes like that. Um, you got Wesley Willis doing his weird shit back in the 2000s. It's like so many juggernauts out of Chicago, and even now, we don't know what's to come. So I'm a huge fan of the scene and the people. Everybody's supportive. I love it. I had my gripes when I first started, but hey, every scene has cons.
Yeah, and it comes around, and I think outside of just Chicago, I mean, Angry Black Men is really starting to kind of gain some traction on the national level. Like I know Pitchfork wrote about the record. Anthony Fantano was talking about it. I saw you even got some shout outs from Danny Brown recently. So I mean, what's that been like to just were you expecting this kind of reaction when you dropped the record?
Nah, I didn't, to be honest. 'Cause
No.
me personally, Brian, if you want to tell your part, I'll go after you, bro.
No, no, no. I was just agreeing with you. Like, no, I wouldn't even expecting Danny Brown to like reach out and say how much he liked it. Like,
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, to get accolades from somebody like that is amazing.
Yeah, he's one of my
yeah.
my biggest one of. I always told Brian that's one of my favorite rappers. Like Atrocity Exhibition is one of my favorite albums ever. So that was a cool moment. But I didn't expect it because it was at the point where we were doing it for so long. I just didn't think people cared at that point.
Yeah, well, clearly people do. So, I mean, I know, yeah, you guys have been doing this for a while. How did the group actually form? How did you guys come together?
Ooh, we tell the story quite a bit. So we gotta stick to the script on this one. So um we met in 2014 at a music video. We met through a mutual friend. His name was Eric. Shout out to Eric. And me and Brian, we just kind of stayed in contact for a couple years. We weren't really that close. We would just hang out every blue moon. And then at the end of 2016, Brian comes to me and asks to be in a duo. And I was like, no at first because I thought that was corny. And at the time, the scene just didn't have like a lot of duos. So it just wasn't a look. I just thought I'm gonna keep doing the solo stuff. And then I thought about it more, and I was like, okay, what would you call it? And Brian said he'd call it Mad Black Men, and I was like, that's so fucking corny. I was like, what about if we call it Angry Black Men? Because I don't know, I just felt like there was a ring to it. And then already for my solo stuff, I had the logo, which was inspired by KMD, MF Doom's group back in the 80s.
Yeah.
So really it was my spin on it, and it was a mesh of Brian coming up with this idea, and I already had the logo, so it was like a match made in heaven. And that's how Angry Black Men started early 2017.
Couldn't explain it any better than that, man.
Right on. Right on. And timing is everything, right? So like, yeah, a few years ago, like there wasn't a lot of duos coming out, but now like, you have Arm and Hammer and They Hate Change and a bunch of different groups that are, doing the duo flag. And I think you guys are kind of at the forefront of that now too.
Shout out to They Hate Change.
Yeah, yeah. They Hate Change from Tampa, Florida as well. Great group. I think they're doing a lot of cool stuff. You're doing a lot of cool stuff. Again, Arm and Hammer too. Um, it's there's a lot of great duos out right now. But so I want to talk a little bit more about the record itself, the Legend of ABM. Because for me, the first thing that becomes apparent is just the sound of the record is so like it's like uncompromising is the word I want to use, and it's like it's in your face, it's out there, and it's like almost industrial like production, so um tell me a little bit about how the sound of the record came together.
Honestly, I got to give all praise to Derek, aka Formants. Sorry, I don't know if I went out there, but yeah, shout out to Derek because he already had the vision. He already had a style before we met him, and although we would give him ideas on a direction, he pretty much already had it. He already had the vision, and he was already influenced by stuff like Nine Inch Nails and Dialect from the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Public Enemy was a big one that we would talk about often. So we had, like I said, for the production, we had little to no input, but it was there for sure. Like we would tell him to change certain things. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like a match made in heaven with that. It was also like another match made in heaven, I would say. I would say the only track that had touches on it was Magnum Opus. I co-produced that one. But other than that, Derek is, yeah, he went in swinging on that. Brian, do you have anything to add on that? I feel like I missed something.
I mean, coming up with the sound early on, I know Derek was like, spitballing to us quite a few sounds, and it took a while to like, go through all of that stuff. And I know, I don't know if he ever used any of the ideas I ever sent him, but I did like, I was just sending him like small little random beatboxing, um, just beatboxing rhythms to use just for like drums, or like just now I'm using different like little sounds, crazy sporadic sounds to like send them, just to hopefully spark some inspiration out of him, or if he is that like a roadblock or anything, he can hopefully that sound will help him get there and just create something. I wasn't sending him anything to like I want some credit, I want this down, I want that credit. I'm just I'm just trying to fuel everybody.
Yeah.
Even when we're in the studio, like I feel like I'm Spliff and Q Busta Rhymes, and say he be like, I want to know how to say this. I need to put some more energy on it, and I'd be like standing right next to the mic, what I'm saying, being like a little hype man, to get his verse out, or vice versa. I'd be having troubles trying to get my verse out, and he'll like stand on the side and saying perform as like a hype man in the studio, and like that'll just help me get the verse out. So, or like when we're collaborating, we all like just bounce ideas off each other. So it's been a real, like Q was saying, match made and having collaborative effort on this album.
Yeah, are you guys are you about like the one take life, or is there a lot of punch-ins, or how do you record?
Well, I try to be one take Jake, but it be hard sometimes.
Yeah.
So, sometimes it's a punch in, punch out, and it depends on how, me and Q feel. Like if we got the verse locked in and there's no change in it, like we got it memorized and everything, that's one take. Or we may do three just because Derek acts. He's like, I can't let y'all do that. I know y'all got something deeper inside you. Like bring it out. So I don't think we would ever ultimately be able to do one takes because Derek, he's gonna like make us do it again and again.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean sometimes that's what it takes, and there's a lot of emotion, there's a lot going on in this record. I mean, songs like Suicidal Tendencies, Dead Men Tell No Lies, Amor Propio, you know, these kinds of songs that are like very personal, and you're dealing with a lot of sensitive topics. So, you know, what is that like as a duo to come together and really like let your soul out on the record? Like, are you just that comfortable with each other that you could do that?
Well, between me and Q, we're comfortable because we talk to each other like almost every day. But
Yeah.
like letting it out for the masses to hear, that was very uncomfortable for me. Q was already in his bag with it, and he was trying to just get me on board because I was writing very surface level, and he'll be like, "Bro, this is college dropout Kanye. Like, go back and do that again." And I say, "Nah, man, this is it. This gonna take us home to the Grammys." And he'd be like, "No, it's not, man. We gotta rap about what arguments we just had in the past 30 minutes with our family. Like, we gotta really give them a documentary through your words." And I said, when he said it like that, I said, "You know what? I took like the next few weeks off, and I was just writing and revising." So like, I don't know for Q, but like it really took a toll on me to like come, just bring that type of stuff out and then try to warn my family or ask friends or hey, I kind of name dropped you, or hey, I kind of talked about this type of experience in the album. Is this cool? And majority of them was like, "Hey, man, I don't care. You're the artist. You do you." And some were like, "I don't want that to be talked about," but I had to keep it anyway, just because it's my words, it's my property, and
Yeah.
it's coming from my intellect.
Yeah, I just wanted to keep it a balance between personal and mainstream and accessible for the audience.
It definitely, I mean, you're talking about really real shit, and I think that's commendable for sure.
I do want to add something. Um, Looking at all the critics and what they've been having to say, it seemed like they kind of wanted us to like trauma dump on the album, and it's like that's kind of not like what me and Q are about. We don't want to be no trauma dumping rappers to where it turns super cliche.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, what do you mean by that exactly? Like, the critics are saying that you should be trauma dumping?
Yeah, they felt like we should be going a lot deeper and like really delve into the politics and like just really nail it in there. And it's like it's a lot more to life than just screaming politics on a track
Yeah,
or trauma dumping on a track about your life. Like we get 60,000 songs churned out a day of wait, can we curse on here?
absolutely.
Okay, of just shit that what I'm saying, from drill rap to like R&B country songs. It's like, no, nobody need to hear trauma dumping all day like that.
Yeah. Yeah, do you think maybe it's the name? Like people see angry black men and they're like, this is needs to be like a politically charged thing.
Well, yeah, me and Q, we battled that oxymoron early on in the career of ABM because would see Riot and they would feel like we were supposed to go way more deeper than that. But it's like the name is Angry Blackmen. So it's like, and for white, for Chinese, for Mexican, you could be angry white man, angry Mexican man, it doesn't matter. We're sitting here giving you the flesh off our muscles. Like we're giving you us. We're not going to we may give you some politics and then I'm going to talk about a conversation I had with my girlfriend that was very unsettling and uncomfortable all at once, along with that trauma, along with that politics, you know?
Yeah. No, no, that's real, and I think that's part of what people are really digging about the record is that it's relatable. I mean, you're
Yeah,
speaking truths.
appreciate that, man.
Yeah. So tell me about the cover art too, because I know you got the Angry Black Men logo, but like who is that in the photo, and how did that come together?
That's on you, Q. I want you to explain that one. You explain that one well.
All right.
Cool. Yeah, it was one of my friends, Yuki Fujinami from Japan, and I 2 years ago, maybe three, I asked her to if she wanted to be on the cover for her next album, and she agreed to it. So I just said we want something dark, and then she sent me that. Well, she sent a couple of different versions, and when we picked out the one that we liked the best.
That's dope.
Yeah,
So
I
yeah,
agree. It came out darker than I thought it would, but I think it fits the album.
Yeah, no, I think it does. Is there a concept behind the Legend of ABM, or is it, is it more just this is what you were feeling?
I would say a mixture of both.
I would say the same mixture of both.
How did you guys link up with Fatboy Sharif?
Mm. We were in New York on a short tour with Dalek,
Okay, yeah,
hip
yeah.
hop legend here, and we he just showed up. I mean, he got word that we were coming into town. I wasn't even expecting him to show up at the show, but he showed up. He rocked out with us, and he was like, "Man, look, whatever y'all need, just hit my DM. I got you." Shoot, I didn't know we were going to need him for the album like that, and didn't know the once we got the track and we created it, put it out, didn't know we was going to receive like such good vibes from that. It was crazy because that was the first time that I made something that raw and like that different. I have to take my hat off to the Fat Boy because he definitely like made me step up my artistry on that album.
That's amazing. He's one of my favorite rappers right now for sure. So that was another thing that drew me to listen to the records. I saw the feature list and saw him, and I was like, I got to listen to this track, and then next thing I know, I'm listening to the whole record, and it the. Record slaps. Um, what was it like? What was it like seeing Anthony Fantano, the Needle Drop? I know the Needle Drop named which song was what did they name best new track?
It was sabotage.
Sabotage. Yeah, so they named Sabotage best new track. I mean, I feel like it's got to be nerve-wracking with the critics, and especially somebody like Anthony Fantano that's so honest about his music takes. I mean, were you nervous when you hit play on that video to see, what he was going to say, or did you know it was going to be cool?
Um, me personally, I was nervous because I was like, you know, I don't know what he has to say. I've seen a lot of his reviews, and he breaks them down to where it's like it's even uncomfortable for the artist sometimes to even sit
Yeah.
there and watch their own work get broken down like that. But I mean, like Kanye says, press is press. So uh, I don't know. He has yet to like do a full honest review on the album. So um, I don't know. That's another monumental thing that I have to like scratch off on my bucket list just because me and Q we spent hours, days, and months and years on the phone talking about like Anthony Fantano and just everything he's reviewed and hopefully we can get on there one day. Then being on there, I don't know. It felt like magic. It just felt like something like we're finally stepping out and getting out there now.
How does that feel?
A little bit scary.
You think so?
If yeah, because it's just like now it's adding on to the pressure, and it's I don't know. We're gonna have this house. I feel like we're gonna have this ceiling at this height, and me and Q are gonna have to work to jump to reach that goal. And I don't want it to be something real uncomfortable, and I don't want it to be something that's gonna make us fall in the next 5 years or 10 years. I want us to like gradually, with good strength, stride through that and break barriers.
Yeah. How do you feel about that, Q?
I feel pretty great about it. I thought it was cool, to be honest. I've been a been a fan of Fantano. Hell no, I've been a fan of Fantano for a while. So it was very cool to get that, feedback. It made me feel like we are going into the right direction.
Yeah, I bet that's validating for sure. And now the Legend of ABM is out on Death Bomb Arc, which is a Philly based record label, kind of known for like clipping and Death Grips and some other groups. Was that like a target label for you guys, or how did they come into the picture?
I reached out to them years ago originally. Yeah, I was a fan of JPEG Mafia, and that's how I found out about Death Bomb Art. So I think I sent them one of our older videos, Riot, and I sent like a friend of Brian who runs the label, and that's how he found out about us. And he was in contact with us for a couple of years before we first worked together in 2020 with Headshots.
Amazing. Yeah, and it seems like it's going well with Death Bomb Arc. Like I actually I saw you guys post a couple weeks ago. You mentioned that like there are only like 3 copies left of the record on the Death Bomb Arc website. And I it was one of those moments, where you're looking at your phone and I'm like, oh, I need to click on this. I need to buy this record. And then I like somebody distracted me, somebody started talking to me or whatever, and then I went to go back and look and it was gone. It was like the record was sold
Oh,
out. So I still need to get my official copy of Legend of ABM. Or are you guys going to be reprinting them? Are there going to be more coming soon? Because I need that on my shelf.
yeah, there's gonna be more for sure. Um, yeah, the store it's gonna be updated for sure. So
Yeah, I mean that's got to be awesome too, to just see that, obviously like the internet accolades are one thing, but for people to actually buy the record is got to be the most rewarding thing about the whole project.
hell yeah.
That's wild. So yeah, there'll be more. What's going on in the future for Angry Black Men? Are you guys are touring? I think I saw some show like in the Netherlands or something. Or where are you guys heading?
Yeah. No, yeah, for sure. My bad. I thought Brian was gonna take it. But yeah, for
Nah,
sure. The
you've been
Netherlands.
trying to you've been trying to stay hush hush. We got some stuff locked in the vault for this year. It's gonna scream volumes. Yeah, we've been trying to like get some U.S. booking. I know because we've been gathering a lot of overseas attention. So those shows been cooking up as well. So it's a lot on the table that we're dealing with, man. It's getting a bit much. I'm not gonna lie to you, but we're trying to sort it out.
Yeah, and I mean, are you doing this like without management, or I mean, are you working with anybody on that end, or is this is just the two of you like rocking this?
Yeah, man, it's just the two of us rocking this one.
That's crazy. Yeah, I could see how that could be a bit much for two people, especially when you're also focused on the creative side and actually making the music and making the art. You know, um, to have to deal with like this, I don't want to say it's an explosion of popularity, but you're definitely, like when I know it's not all about numbers, but when I first saw Angry Black Men, I think you guys were like under 1,000 monthly listeners on Spotify, and I know that's like, you know, gone up like 5 times at this point. You know,
For sure, yeah.
what can we expect for the future then? Is there going to be another release this year, or is Legend of ABM, what we're getting?
Uh, it possibly can be. I know uh, I'm gonna put a question mark on the sound because when we drop the next one, we may return as experiments, we may not.
Yeah, can you tease it for us? Are there any plans in the works? And you guys are being kind of coy about this, I feel.
Um,
No, I think oh, my bad, go ahead.
no, no, you take it, Q. Take that.
I think there's a lot going on. I think we have quite a few shows in the mix that we gotta be quiet about for now. But the goal is definitely to drop music videos throughout the year, possibly just singles throughout the year. And then maybe we'll follow up next year with something even stronger. But it's definitely a question mark at this point because I feel like right now we have to focus on what we have right, what's going on currently before we can
Yeah.
jump on to the next thing.
Yeah, I mean, relatively speaking, the album just came out, so it's like there's a lot of movement still on the record that can be done, you know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's a good way to put it. Feels like things are very fast consumed, very fastly consumed nowadays. People
Yeah.
just drop shit and it's like old like in a month. And that's what I don't want
I
to
hate
happen
it.
with this album.
I fucking hate it.
Yeah, no, I hate that too. Like I'm all about letting a record breathe, and giving it
And
time. I mean,
it's only really with rap too.
yeah. Yeah. No, it's like you drop something and people are already waiting for the next one. But especially with this album, like there's so much to dissect and there's so much going on that I feel like you're not giving it its due if you're just listening once and moving on to the next thing, you know.
I agree. Feels like people already have, to be honest. Like, all right, it came out. What's next?
Yeah.
I kind of want to add into that. I just want to like put this analogy on it. It's like people been making those McDonald's burgers. You know, it's a quick fix. It's for the times. It's capsulated for now. And it's like if you want that great American juicy cheeseburger, you know, from Epic Burger, M Burger, A&W, Culver's, you're gonna have to wait a minute because we're
Yeah.
making that burger.
I love that. I love that. Shout out to Epic Burger. I ate there a lot when I was at Loyola. So,
Hey,
you know, yeah. Um, yeah, I think that's a really good way to put it, is that, you know, the best stuff takes time for sure.
for
Absolutely.
sure. Man.
So if you could work with anybody, you know, I'm all about manifesting this. If you could work with anybody, whether it be a producer, featured artist, whatever, who would you want to work with?
My first mind was Kanye, but I'm not gonna do that right now. So
Fair
I'm gonna
enough.
say, yeah, because I need to get off that man nuts for a little bit. Um, so instead of Kanye, my Kanye love, I'm gonna say Danny Brown.
Are you teasing something
Mm.
for me here? You know, I know he already
I
reached out.
wish.
So, what about you, Brian?
Oh man, I'm still riding on my homie nuts, Earl Sweatshirt all day.
Oh, now that would be a hell of a collab.
That'd be crazy.
Okay, so we're putting that out into the universe now. So you're gonna get a DM from Earl Sweatshirt after this airs. I promise you.
That's crazy.
Okay.
You already got the DM from Danny Brown, so you're step one in the right direction. So, um, cool. Well, we're pretty much towards the end of our time, so I just wanted to you know, end this with you know, any final thoughts for our listeners, anything else that people should know about the Angry Black Men world?
Hmm. I got something.
What you got,
Go
King?
ahead.
Yeah. I feel like we put a lot of work into this album, and I'm glad that people like it. But there's so much more. I feel like this is like the beginning of something. So yeah, I just want people to know like we have more to offer, and I appreciate the reception that we got so far. Because at that point, man, I'm gonna be honest here, niggas was ready to give up before this album dropped. I'll never forget, like in December, I was just kind of like, yeah. When the Spotify rap shit came out and everybody was listening to the same artists, I was like, what the? Nobody's looking for this shit. Remember
Yeah.
that? I was in my fucking feelings. I was like
Yeah.
Drake, but now that it came out, I have like a new perception on it. But yeah, I'm
Well,
just happy that people really like it.
I'm glad you didn't quit, man, because the world needs more of this, and they need, you know, hip hop especially needs music like this. I think you know, we're good on Drake. You know, I don't think we need any more Drake. You know, um, no shade,
Um,
no shade, just in general. You know,
I like the Six God.
yeah.
I'm actually happy you said that. That actually means a lot to me, and that's what really gets me up to keep writing, keep producing different little instruments, and keep collaborating with these guys. Because without those words of confirmation, I feel like we would be lost. So thank you for those kind of words, man. I appreciate you.
No, I thank you for putting out this
Oh yeah.
music. Like I said at the top of the interview, you know, this is an early pick for me for album of the year. I think it's going to be a tough one to beat. Although I haven't listened to the new Schoolboy Q record yet, which came out today, so you know,
Heard that
maybe.
shit was
Ooh,
fire. I heard
Yeah,
that shit was fire.
yeah. So maybe
I
I don't
will,
know, but
I
the
will be in
legend of,
my car, you guys.
yeah. So there you go. But the Legend of ABM, it's a hell of a record. It's a 10 out of 10 in my book. I don't care what Pitchfork gave it.
Oh,
You know,
appreciate you. That's
Ooh.
it's a great record. Highly recommend anybody listening to this, if you haven't heard it yet, put it on. You're in for an experience. Um, yeah. Thanks guys. Thanks so much for doing this. I really appreciate it.
no, thank you, man. I appreciate you
Um,
too. This
before
is a
we
great
go,
interview.
where can the listeners find Angry Black Men? Where can they find you online? How can they connect with you?
Everywhere.
Man. You better go and follow Angry Black Mujiwara right now. You better go and follow Angry Black Man underscore right now. Angry Black
Man
Primo
said,
right now. All
man said
right.
Mujiwara. Hell no, Mugiwara.
How, yeah.
You
I don't
don't
know how
watch
to
One Piece.
enunciate.
You don't watch One Piece. Don't let me stop.
I don't.
Sometimes I try to.
But
Is
no,
it
yeah, you can find this everywhere.
find you
Yeah.
everywhere? All right. All right. Well, everywhere is where people are these days. So that's good.
Yeah, and more to come. Like I said, more to we got so much more to offer. Appreciate the love that the album has gotten. I can't stress that enough. Like I really can't.
Yeah. I'll be on the lookout for more. Hopefully you guys come through the Tampa Bay area sometime in the near future and we can have you do an in-person interview with the in the studio here.
Hell yeah.
Oh man, I would definitely love to meet you, and I would definitely love for you to come out to a show because I'm going to plan one just so I can see you. So make sure I see you because I want to
I
see you.
that see that means the world to me, that's all I need to hear.
You
Okay,
said you wanted some little what did you say? You said you wanted some foreshadowing. I forgot how you put it. But yeah,
Yeah.
just watch out for
manifesting.
summertime. Watch out for summertime, Chicago. That's all I'm gonna say.
Summertime shy. I think I might have a couple of ideas. Might have of what you're referring to. Maybe we'll after I hit pause on the record, we'll have to talk about it.
Absolutely.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. We'll talk soon. All right, I'm gonna stop the recording here.
Wait, can we curse on here?
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm just shit.